Alright, again, what I asked you to do at the beginning of class here was to go out to the P drive for the class and find the folder that says 11/25/2014. Copy that folder to your virtual desktop, and in particular to the htdocs folder under the exam folder in your virtual desktop. So that's what we're going to look at right now. So I'm going to go to mine. And there's only two files we have to look at today. They are reports and totals. All right. And I'm looking on here, and I did a bunch of stuff, moving stuff around, etc. And I already see at least one spot that looks like it could be an error. But it appears to be working okay, which is kind of interesting. It should just say totals. All right, so let's start with the reports page. Okay, the reports.php file. All right, changing our title, including our header information. You already know this. That header information is what's given us this stuff right here. Everything that's in here. All right, there's our footer information, so we don't have to go through that. All right, then we're putting in our page header that just says reports, and it's strong. That's giving us this. All right. Then notice what we're checking here. Only print the form if it has not yet been submitted. So what they're saying is, if you look up on the screen here, that has not yet been submitted. Does that make sense to everybody? All right, so that's the form. Notice if I click submit, I'm getting some error messages. All right, so there's still some problems with this. Undefined index report. I'm using stuff what I should have done and didn't. I just thought of it right now. That's why I checked it. But I should have checked to see here. There should have been maybe checked first to see if you click submit and nothing was chosen here. Or I could have had one of these chosen as the default, right? If this is just a form, we could have selected one as the default, which probably would have been a better thing than not selecting anything. So if I come back in here, if you look up on the screen here, I want you to see this. So if I come through here, and I always forget with radio buttons if is it checked or is it selected? I think it's selected. So I just set the first one, number 1, to selected. We'll know right away as soon as I refresh this. All right, then let's try checked. Oh, wait a minute, it's not yet been. Let's try checked. See that? I set it to checked. So there's always a default one in here. All right. Always a good idea to do something like that to make sure. So all I did was added this. Doesn't matter which one I add it to. But this says, again, if the form has not yet been submitted, print out the form. That form that you see, that code that you see here in lines 13 through 31, that code is what makes that right there. Hopefully that makes sense. All right. If the form was submitted, then what we need to know is which button was checked. So what we have in here, if the form is submitted, all right, determine what report to view or display. If it's number 1, then we want to run this query and put all the results, send you basically over to the tables or to the totals.php file and put all this stuff in there. All right, right there. Otherwise, if it's a 2, you want to do that query and do the same kinds of stuff. Otherwise, if it's a 3, same stuff. Otherwise, if it's a 4, again, same stuff. What's different in here every time is this. It's the query that we're running. All right. So when I ran this, I set it up so that, for example, notice customer report. When you run it, showing the first 20 customer records. And it really should have said for customer number 1022. It's their first 20 records. All right. So what is this doing? Customer ID, customer, order number, ordered, shipped, and quantity ordered. Well, take a look at the query. Select this from orders. I'm sorry. It's number 1. So we're doing 2, we're joining 3 tables here. Customers on orders and orders on order details. Why? Because the information that we need is in 3 different tables. All right? So the customer information, customer ID and the customer number, those are from the customer table. The order number and the order date are from the orders table. Probably the order shipped is too, and the quantity ordered is from the order details table. All right. Now what I wanted to do, and again, no excuse, sorry, just ran out of time, but notice this is the bad thing about this query is right there. What's bad about what I put in green right there? I hard-coded the value in. So every time I run it, it's only going to show that first 20 for that customer. What would have been better right here would have been to run this so that when you ran that report and you did this, rather than just doing that, it would have probably been better over here to have had a drop down or something where you could have selected the customer number. We would have put maybe the customer number and their name here. So what I'm trying to tell you is every time we run this, we always get the same 20 records from the same customer. Okay. With a second one, as it says, we're showing the vendors who sold the most products. This isn't all the vendors that are in here, but it's all of them in order based on, so you can see Lone Star Bike Supply sold the most products. Everybody who's in here sells at least one product. All right, but what we're doing in here is we're ending up doing for number 2, we're doing a subquery. So we're running this one first. Give me a count from product vendors. All right, where the vendor ID equals the product vendor ID and the vendor ID are the same. All right, so we're doing a subquery there. Then we're ordering it by another subquery. Then if we grab number 3 here, as it says, show all products with a retail price more than the average retail price. This should make sense right here. I can grab that query. I can copy that. I can go back out here, get into my shell. Now I can run that query. I have an error in my syntax. Let's see what the error was. Oh, I know what it is. So we'll fix that. the average price of an item is right here. That's the inner query. So the average price of an item is $196.03. That should make sense to all of you. All right? So what we're saying here is run that inner query, all right, and then show me all of the products that were sold that were greater than $196.03. So if we run this one, notice the amounts. They're all greater than $196.03. So the average price of a product that you're selling is $196.03. Right now, there are 4 products that have a price higher than that. All right. What we could have done right here, probably should have done, is taken the final results of this, taken the results of the whole thing, and done an order by. Because right now it's not in any kind of order. It's not in product number order. It's not in product name order. I guess it's in ascending order by default on retail price. Maybe we would have wanted it in descending order. All right. All right, so that's number 3. Number 4, show all orders placed between 2 dates. This is a pretty simple query. I should be able to grab all of this right here, copy it to the clipboard, paste it in, give me empty set, which isn't right. I think it's because I had some blanks in here, but we'll find out. There's a mistake in there. It should be 1201. And that should be 1221. That should work. There. So again, what that is designed to show you is all of the orders that took place within a certain date period. All right. And the last one that's here that's probably the easiest query that you've seen. Again, hopefully we won't have any mistakes when we try to run this one. Okay, that should be the results that we get. Susan Viscas, William Thompson, Gary Hallmark, Dean McRae, John Viscas, Andrew Sensini, Elena Hallmark, Liz Kaiser, and Jody Bonnickson. All right, and if we go run that last one, there they are. Again, those are all the customers who live in Washington who don't have a last name that starts with S. All I was trying to show you by running these is you always should formulate your queries first and run them either from the MySQL command line like this, or as we could have done, run them from PHP MyAdmin. Once you get them to work, then you stick them into your program. All right. So again, you should now have a working app. Again, it isn't perfect. A lot of things, a lot of fixes that could still be done with it, but it allows you to look at customer records, orders, order details, and run certain reports. All right. I'm going to take this one, go back in every single place that I've used a MySQLi underscore, I'm going to try to replace it with a MySQL. So for instance, everywhere where we've got something like this, where we've got something like MySQLi underscore query. Well, that's considered the old school way of doing it. The new school way is to do it like this, because that's using the object-oriented way of doing it. So I'm going to go back and do that. Plus, I'm going to go back and try to create at least one simple class to hold our database information. All right. If I get all that done, that's what I'm going to show you on Tuesday of next week, because we don't meet Thursday, of course. And then if we get it all done in one period, fine. Then Thursday will be a lab. And then the following week, I'm going to go back and try to show you this using something that's called PDO or PHP data objects. And again, you'll have all the code when we get done. That's where we'll pick it up then in the 164 class in spring. All right? So that's really all that I had.